Hi, I'm Russ. This is Russ Talks Tech, and today I'm asking the question, should I unbox or should I return my new Magic Keyboard for iPad Pro? So since Apple announced this keyboard, there's been a sort of air of excitement around it, as well as a few reservations, a few questions, such as, for example, how good is the trackpad going to be given its diminutive size? Will the keyboard be as good as on the MacBook Pro? And how practical is this compared to existing keyboard options? Now, I'm the kind of guy that likes to do a lot of research before I make a purchase. Don't get me wrong, I'm very good at spending money, but I hate wasting money. So I always want to make sure a piece of tech is suitable for whatever it is that I'm purchasing it for. And then it's not just going to lie around, it's not going to be a waste of money, it's not going to end up in a box or having to eBay it and lose some money. Normally I'm doing this by looking at YouTube videos, I'm looking at forums, I'm looking at reviews on Amazon, on other technology websites. However, when this keyboard was announced, all that good sense went out of the window and I just ordered one. As soon as it was available, I was on there, ordered it, and it arrived this afternoon. But something happened in between ordering it and it arriving, and I saw some YouTube videos. I watched a couple of YouTube videos, MKBHD, Sarah Dici, and a few others, and now I'm not sure if this is the keyboard for me. Okay, so firstly, let me give you a quick rundown of my existing setup. Now, I bought the 2018 iPad Pro 11-inch last June, and at the time I ordered the Bridge keyboard. Now, that was a very nice keyboard to use, however, I found it completely impractical, mainly because the iPad couldn't switch behind the keyboard, meaning anytime you wanted to use the iPad in a kind of non-laptop mode, you had to take it out of those hinges. And that really wasn't very straightforward. And then when you wanted to put it back in, it was always fiddly, and then the keyboard would be in another room. So I sent that back. Tried a few others, couple of Amazon. I never really liked the look of the Apple Folio keyboard. I didn't like the way the keys felt and the way it just propped in a couple of positions. Anyway, I ended up finding this case on Amazon for just under £50, and it seemed like pretty much perfect because it's got this tilting mechanism where you can pretty much put the screen in any position you want it to be. And the keyboard is always there, it's always ready to use. So, I can have it in this sort of notepad position, I can be doing some writing, and then I need to type, and I can just flip it around, and there I am, I can just crack on with the typing, and then if I want to watch something, I can just twist it around like this. It's really, really flexible. And of course, you may have noticed it has got RGB, which is what everyone wants in a keyboard. Now, I say it's almost perfect. There are a couple of limitations. It's quite heavy. But that's mainly because it's got its own battery to power the keyboard and the lighting, but it does charge with a USB-C socket, which I thought was a nice touch because it means you can just unplug your power from your iPad, plug it straight into the keyboard, and off it goes. The other thing is that removing the iPad is not that straightforward. It's kind of clicked in there. It's kind of a pain to remove, so it's not designed to have the iPad taken in and out. That's not really such a big deal just because you can swing it into the normal tablet mode, but it is a consideration. Okay, so back to the Magic Keyboard. Let me tell you what these review videos have given me reservations about. Okay, so firstly, the weight. For some reason, I thought this was going to be lighter than it turns out. And in fact, it is about 100 grams lighter than the solution I'm using at the moment, but it's still quite heavy, it's quite bulky, and it's not as light and easy to carry around as, for example, the former Folio keyboard. Secondly, something that's come to light is the lack of function keys. Now, why, Apple, why would you do this? On my existing solution, I've got this row of keys. I can increase the brightness of the keyboard and decrease it. I can increase and decrease the brightness of the display. I can skip tracks. I can turn volume up and down. I can lock the screen. I can return to the home screen, all from this nice row of function keys. And there's an escape key, which does come in useful from time to time. Apple, once again, missing a trick here, because even when you're in laptop mode, if you need to skip a track, Spotify's brought something up that you really don't want to listen to, you're going to have to touch the screen, access the controls, skip the track, and then go back to whatever it was you were doing. Even if you use the control center, it's still extra touches where you could have just hit a key on your keyboard. Then after that, I started thinking about certain scenarios. So the idea of this keyboard setup is that you can have your iPad in the keyboard, and then when you want to use it in iPad mode, you can just take it off. It's magnetic, it's easy to use, and crack on. So let's take a scenario where I'm at my desk and I decide I'm going to go in the living room, I'm going to surf the web, watch some TV on my lunch break, and I've got my iPad with me and it's just in iPad mode. And then I receive an email which needs a bit of a longer reply, and my keyboard's in the other room. I have to go back into my office to get the keyboard, which is next to my laptop. So at this point, I may as well just unlock my laptop and deal with the email there at my desk. Another scenario I thought of was due to the format of the thing. So let's say you're walking down the hallway at college or at work and you're talking to a colleague and you realise you need to make some notes. You want to just grab your iPad, use GoodNotes, whatever app you use with your pencil. Now you have to take the iPad out of the case, put the case back in your bag. Now you can use the iPad, but then you need to now take your case back out, put the iPad back in the case, and then put that back in your bag, rather than just being able to take the iPad out of your bag, flip it around, and crack on with what you need to do. Of course, one of the big deals about this is the new touchpad. But really, how useful is that for a device that's been built around touch? All the applications, the entire interface has been built around the concept of a large touchscreen. Now for me, I still need my laptop for a couple of applications. For example, development work, web development work is really quite difficult to do on the iPad, and in addition I use Adobe Audition to do radio and music production, and you just can't find an app on the iPad that's anywhere close to that with all the plugins and so on. But one of the things it is really good for is video editing. I edited a full video for one of my other channels and I did it all in LumaFusion, just using touch, keyboard, just to enter the text with the captions and using the pencil. So I'm not really sure how a trackpad could have improved that experience in any way. So if you're trying to use this as a laptop replacement, if there are no killer apps that you really need a desktop for, then perhaps the touchpad will be useful. Now for me, the only way the iPad could replace my laptop is by using remote access into a main desktop Mac. And for that, a trackpad is almost essential. Trying to use a touch screen to work with an interface that wasn't built for touch is very difficult. So for that scenario, it would be very useful. So here I am wondering if I've made a dud purchase and this is the wrong product for me. If it was £99, I'd probably just open it up, give it a try, use it for a few days, few weeks, and then if it didn't work out, I could just sell it on eBay and probably, lose 20 or 30 pounds, that's fine. But this is £299. That's even more expensive than anyone watching in the US is paying, which is $299. So it's roughly $1.2 to the pound. So you can see how much more we're paying for it over here, thanks to taxes and so on. £299 is enough money to buy an entire laptop, albeit a fairly low-end laptop, but an entire laptop. I'm paying that just for a keyboard right here. Or I could spend that £299 on something I'd actually find useful, or even sit in my bank account until another product comes along that's got a touchpad, keyboard, similar to the device I'm using today. And of course, we can continue to hope that third parties figure out how to use those connectors on the back of the iPad to power the keyboard, rather than having to need a separate battery to power it via Bluetooth. So let me know in the comments down below what you think I should do. Should I unbox it? You can see it's still at the little tab here. Haven't done anything with it yet. Or should I just box it up, send it back and wait for something better to come along? I'll be making a follow-up video in a few days to let you know what I decide to do. And if I do open it, I'll be doing a run through and review and let you know what I ended up thinking of it. So be sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss that video. And if you enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button. Thanks for watching.